Let's bring in Zöe Franklin, who's the Liberal Democrat MP for Guildford. Zöe, morning to you.
Morning, James.
So why are you concerned about what the council has said to you, and so your reaction when you got this email?
So my reaction when I got the email was I was frankly stunned. We had no advanced communications indicating that they were concerned by the volume of emails that we were sending in. And the thing is, we are sending a large volume of emails in. I, for one, have 50 cases relating to additional needs, special educational needs. So we are trying to support parents and families of children who have these additional needs. So we were stunned. And then, as you said, as Jack said in his introduction to this session, is that actually our role is to advocate for our residents when other paths have failed. And I'm really disappointed to hear Claire Curran say that we should be signposting people to the appropriate processes. Well, honestly, the parents that come to us have already been through the processes. I've got a particular example where a family went to tribunal in January. They got the outcome, and Surrey have 5 weeks to comply with the outcome of the tribunal. Well, it's now May, and that young lady is not getting any provision.
Right, OK. So, look, Surrey says this is about reminding the MPs that there is a formal process that needs to happen. I guess you're going to back this back and just say, well, yeah, we're responding after people have been through that.
Yeah, and that is exactly right, James. Families come to the MPs as a place of last resort in most cases. They have already been through the complaints process, the appeal process, they've been to tribunal, they've used all the measures they can, so they come to us. Or there are situations where parents are desperately trying to get a good outcome for their child, but they just can't get a response from Surrey. So they do come to the MPs. And I think in those circumstances where the communication path has broken down, we shouldn't have to resort to going to the complaints process, which takes time and money for both the council and parents, when actually we can facilitate that conversation.
Why do you think they sent this email to you guys?
Honestly, I don't know, James. As I said, we were stunned. We'd had no prior conversation. We have a single email address which we will email into for Surrey to try and get support for these families. I may be emailing about 25 to 50 families at any one time. I imagine it's the same for the MPs. But in comparison to the rest of the caseload, that is going to be very small. But it's very serious issues. So I would have expected Surrey to contact us and say, we need to have a conversation. We'd like to work with you to get good outcomes for the families and address the systems and processes, not an email out of the blue like this.
Interesting. On a daily basis, you say you've got 50 families. Does it just keep increasing, or is there any improvement? We had the leader of Surrey County Council on last week. You know, they're fully aware that this is a big issue for them.
Yeah, so we are able to get some outcomes for individual families. I talked about one particular case in the House of Commons last year. I'm really pleased to say that the individual has now been given appropriate education. But unfortunately, too many of the cases that we've got right now start with this, and just we keep going round and round in circles without an appropriate outcome, which means that children are out of school or don't have appropriate education for months and months. And that's enormously damaging for the child, but also has a huge impact upon the family. I've got one particular case where they've shared with me that they are absolutely exhausted because the mum has long COVID and the dad is having to drive the young person everywhere. And I also talked before Christmas about how a couple of parents in a coffee morning shared with me how they had considered suicide as a result of having to go through this process. So there's a knock-on effect of these delays.
So good talking to you. Thank you for coming on this morning.